We're on YouTube. We're big deals.
Yeah, all these little pieces of software we got to use to make everything work.
Yeah, you know, been dealing with the FSA offices, those women, they got a lot of patience. I'd praise them, I tell you what, meet parking lot,
Oh,
change
papers.
I'm more of an in-person,
Right.
but I'm tired of living like a hermit and I'm scared.
Yeah.
Yes.
How we doing, bud?
Rooster, how's it going?
A lot better if my wife could tell time.
Oh.
Well, it happens. We should be good to go. 6 o'clock. Call the meeting to order, and the first order is a chairperson, and Linda has graciously said that she would be the chairperson. That's okay with you guys. We'd also
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Fine.
Anybody want to volunteer to be vice chair?
Rooster, I think you've got more tenure than I do.
Yeah.
And I want to
Yeah, she's our
She's at
Zoom.
home. And
Put me in the
okay. It was like past years, you know, it won't happen very often, but and that's our goal. But I really appreciate that. Just to kind of let you know right up front, we're still working. If you guys know anybody that would like to serve on this board or on the zoning commission that lives in the rural area outside of the 2 mile areas, Glidden and Carroll, we need 2 more members for this board. We need 2 more members for the zoning commission because the state law that passed effective June 1st and kicked 2 members off of both those boards because they lived in the city. So state passed a new law that nobody could live in the city and be on the county board. So, if you know of anybody, let us know. I guess you're in charge.
Guess I get started, huh?
Head through the minutes if you want.
All right. Our minutes, you had them by email. I can have a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Minutes have been approved. So now we're going to consider a request for the special use permit for the installation of a 30,000 gallon liquid propane tank on the property of George Johnson, located in the northeast quarter of section 23, township 82 north, range 33 west of the 5th PM, Carroll County, Iowa.
Okay, well, since we don't have anybody here who looks like to oppose the idea, we'll kind of dispense with we've got a kind of a sheet that we usually read, you know, saying here's what the order is going to be. And it kind of says, you know, that this is a volunteer board and it is also quasi judicial. So that means that if you would want to appeal the decision that the board makes, your only appeal is to district court. It isn't to the supervisors. So it's kind of a different board in that it is what we call quasi judicial. So what we'll do is give you guys an opportunity to say what you want to do, and I'll kind of give some background then on what the code says, and then we'll go from there. This is actually a public hearing, so if you want to open the public hearing.
Okay, I'll open the public hearing. It's 6:05.
Okay. Why don't you guys just describe what you want to do and go from there.
You start. You want me to go?
You start and I'll finish.
Well, Well, I visited with Colin and we want to put this 30,000 gallon propane tank up at my place. I've had Zach Anderson, the Carroll County engineer out, and they've agreed to give us permit. We're going to bore direct underground to my 2 drive. That'll get rid of all my propane tanks out of my yard. And so me and him struck a deal on the costs and everything, and I have agreed, if you guys pass this, that he can use propane out of this tank to service some of his customers in the area so that.
So I don't have to
driving
drive.
out 45
There's, you know,
miles.
so I'll drive all the way back and forth. Yeah.
You know, I get the logistics.
Yeah.
So you can drive.
Right.
2 to 5, wherever your
Yeah.
customers are, that's none of my business. But, and with the larger tank, it gives me the opportunity to look in.
Correct.
And then we went to the fire marshal and we got all that stuff, the 50 foot off the road, back set, and then we're 110 off the other road. And between his fuel container he's putting up in the propane tank, we got 50 foot. It's only supposed to be 25 foot. Then we're going by the NFPA, it's a propane 58. We'll go by the code with that. We hired the guy to do that already. And then Unified Construction is going to do all the fuel up to code with NFA, whatever it is, 60. And then our electric and him is going to go with, I think, the NFC 70 code for the electricity, for explosion proof and all that. So we got that all documented here and everything's good to go on that part.
And so you got to get a permit from DNR?
No, we're going to the
Or
state
fire
fire marshal. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Which I
And we've
think
been
is-
talking to them and we're in the final deal now. We signed off on it today, so we should be good to go.
And there's not only in the propane tank, but there's another building?
There'll be no building.
Okay,
I'm putting up a containment pad with containment wall to
Okay.
put my diesel fuel.
You move all your fuel across the road.
I'm getting all the fuel out of my yard.
Yeah, I was wondering, I went by the other day, and looked at that pan,
And-
and it would be a question of what was gonna be there.
yeah.
And besides that, it'll be direct line of sight for my security.
Right.
That's good.
So,
Now, do you have to
And,
put up chain link fence at all or any of that?
Around the propane, if you look on here, I'm gonna pass around the fence. We got boulders and everything around there.
Sure.
It wasn't a really good drum, but that's the fence. That's where all the propane problems are right there. That's
Okay.
where we load and unload. And then we got pillars going all the way along here, and then this is a 3-foot wall around that.
No.
now, make no mistake, the diesel fuel, that's me,
Right,
Mhm.
Yeah,
right.
period.
Okay.
He has nothing to do with that. The propane is more or less his item. So. And when Zach Anderson, the county engineer, was down, we looked everything over to make sure there would be no traffic concerns, snow concerns.
Like visibility there, I mean, there's,
Yeah, well, you know, I pull in and out of that yard 100 times a day in the fall with our semis, and I did ask if maybe in the fall we could put a sign up on that east hill that says turning trucks ahead or something.
Sure.
And he said that you could do that. But that'd be more for me.
well, you can't overlook anything.
Yeah, because I have designed this pad, you've seen it. Someday, I'm gonna have a truck scale along the road. So,
All right.
but there'll be no buildings per se, or
Just a containment area for your fuel.
the containment. I was thinking about putting up a small outhouse type building to put all the electrical in, but then it's a building, and then
we gotta do.
we gotta, so I think we're just probably gonna do weatherproof electricity.
All right, so I've contacted all the surrounding property owners. Notice in the paper of the public hearing. Did not receive any comments from the public. Had Carrie take a look, just so you know, Carrie Kersey is going to be taking my place. in the next 6 months. So she's kind of getting orientated to zoning. And we brought up the septic system that's across the road. I did go back down and take a look, and I see that standpipe for the clean out is west. It's still in the field. Basically, your septic system is still in the field, so it does not impact that. Is there a requirement for any other containment, like a berm or anything?
No, they're all cement containment, so there's nowhere for it to go. It's 110% bigger than the biggest tank. When we figured 18 to 19,000 gallons, it's only 16.8, so it's all in compliance.
So with that, you got anything to say, Carrie, or any comment? We can actually, if there's no more comments, we can actually close the public hearing.
Okay.
And if you want to do that.
Close the public hearing at 6:11.
All right. And then you can have discussions. So basically your options here, I did talk to the county attorney. The piece of the ordinance that we're dealing with is that an ag-related business, if George did this all on his own and was just for him, it'd be agriculture and it'd be exempt. We wouldn't be talking about it. But since there's a business attached to it, basically, this would be considered an agricultural related business. I did check with the county attorney's office. They had no problem with the LP, bulk LP being an ag related business because the most use of LP is for ag. It's either drying or heating houses or barns or whatever. Yeah. The non-agricultural use of LP is fairly small in comparison. So they agreed with my interpretation that it would be an ag-related business. So basically what your option is you can either say, yes, we approve that, or we approve it, but we want to make sure that you meet certain conditions. For instance, that they have to meet the state fire marshal's regulations, or you can say, nope, we don't want to. Or you can postpone it and make your decision down the road. So those are basically your 4 options for this evening.
What, we've had that state approved engineer.
Dale Steike, this propane out of Fort Dodge, he's certified.
You signed your final contracts for.
Right here, right here's the contract. All you're gonna do is we gotta go, they're gonna come back to the final review is missing some things. And on final site inspection shall be conducted by the state fire marshal's office. Call us when you're done, and then I signed off on it. If you guys want to see that.
So they still got it down and inspect.
When we're done.
When you're done.
So they can't get done unless we.
Right.
approve it.
You just read that bottom line down there. Yeah. Because I missed that. I didn't know we had to draw that map the first time, how it all laid out with all the lines on the.
I don't have an issue with it, so, I mean, it's, you got everything up to code so far, so, I mean, you know, everything else is pretty black and white out front, so.
Well, they're not gonna let me use it if the fire marshal don't approve it.
That's,
Right.
Guys,
if it all comes into the end
and they won't, yes.
and something is wrong and they don't approve, you might not be
Yeah.
involved with the tank, it'll still be available for you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I make a motion that we go ahead and approve it. And then just the condition that, you know, and then whatever, that the state fire marshal signs off at the end and does the final approval.
Yeah, but
Just like your, just like your plan. I mean, it's just-
Yeah.
I don't want to use it to be.
Right.
There's gotta be a reason.
You don't want to blow the place up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't, there's gonna be an awful good reason that
Yeah.
he's, that, you know, and generally in the end, you'll probably be able to turn around and change a couple things and
Yeah.
fix it, but, I mean, we just gotta go by the letter of the law there, so.
I have a motion. Now, is there a second?
I would second the motion to go ahead with it. Sounds good.
All right. It's yay or nay, so for approval, it's yay. So Brewster,
Yay.
yay.
All right. Basically, what I'm gonna do, George, I'll email a building permit application to your wife. And you guys just fill it out and send it back in. There will be a value of construction on there. So there will be a fee attached to it, but it's based on the value of construction. So otherwise, you're good.
And we're just talking the construction of the propane.
The propane, yeah.
Yep.
As far as you moving your diesel over there, that's not an issue. Yeah. So it'd be the propane and the pad, and, you know, whatever that value is. There on the permit application, there's a range. So whatever it is, send that back in. So you guys are good.
Yeah, you see, you still got Carroll.
Yep.
You definitely send it.
Yeah, I know. Will do.
Looks like your runway's working fairly good.
Yeah, I think he's, we may get, we'll be done tomorrow.
What are you putting on? Or is that
We're top dressing urea.
okay? The thought was, I come at it the other day and it was dry that you
Oh,
were
yeah.
putting in the plane. So it was like, I was gonna pull it in, I thought, nah, I'm just gonna stay out of their way.
Oh, man, there's been a lot of speculation.
But
No, it's held up good.
Who's flying out of it?
My pilot's from Jefferson, Tony Reeder. He works for Dan, Hoppy Air Spray out of Conrad. He's done my airplane spraying for 15 years. So, he's a nice guy.
Getting McDonald's for you, right?
I snapped in the
Oh,
Zoom, it's
man, I'd
okay.
love to get that thing right with you, but there's only one seat.
Oh,
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah. Open your eyes a little bit when they come. I mean, I
I'll
was
tell
down
you
there
what,
at St. Eastie there, and it was like, he was coming in, cutting out, raising up over the barns there every day, and I was working down there. It was like, I mean, I'm looking at everything right underneath the plane, I'm like,
He's pretty, you know, he's done.
oh, wow.
He's 62, and he said he started when he was down in Warfield. But he's never had a wreck. But he's very conscientious. They was having vacation Bible school over at the Trinity Lutheran Church, you know, just on east, where that's at. And of course, he flies around every field where he starts. He called and said, "My God, I think they're having a funeral over here." And I said, "No, they're not. They're on vacation Bible school." And I said, "The kids are actually wanting to
see the plane.
And then, you know, last night we had to spray over Halverson's feedlot, so we called them and I went over and sat by the feedlot.
Oh, the cattle.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's
that's good. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys.
I guess we're seeing. Glad to meet you. What was
Met
your
you
name
before,
again?
Carrie, would have inspected your septics. When
Oh,
you put your
okay.
septics in,
Yeah.
your boy put his in
Yep,
down the way a little bit farther.
yep.
So I've been out to your place twice.
Okay. I thought you looked.
Yep.
All right, well, see you guys.
Thank you.
I'll
Take
show-
care.
Okay.
All right.
The only thing else I have is that just to kind of let you know that in addition to changes in boards that the state enacted on June 1st, there's also a more liberal interpretation of what agriculture is. And the fact that we cannot require, we can ask, but we can't require to get an application from anybody in ag. The big problem I see with that is airport zones and floodplain. We have no idea if they don't give us an application what's going up out there, but the state has already passed that. It is law. So we'll continue to ask, but we can't require it. Application. The other thing that they did was exempt agricultural education. I think it's either education or entertainment. I think it's education from zoning. So if you have a farm out there and you want to put in a pumpkin patch and a distillery for your whatever you're growing, your apples, anything else you want that's related to agriculture, you're exempt. We can't even tell them, yay or nay. Most people only have control over that because they want to control traffic, especially on bad roads. Yeah. You're processing an ag product, and you can have a tasting room.
That's interesting.
So yeah, it's just, and it's going to get worse because the Johnston County legislator that started all this, one of our zoning administrators called him up and said, "What does this mean and what does that mean?" And basically, his goal is that anything out in the country will be exempt. That's what his goal is, and he got quite a ways in this session. And I'm sure he will fine tune it next session. So, and we called our legislators, and my biggest concern, like I said, was airport and floodplain. Non-agriculture is still regulated, but it's pretty much wide open. And it's kind of frustrates me that we don't know what's going on out there. Not that we need to necessarily tell a farmer what he can do and not, but if he builds something in the floodplain, we don't know about it. Or in the airport zone, we don't know about it. He's the one that's going to be in trouble, not us.
What do you think sparked that?
It was basically that one of the legislators in Johnson County, which is Iowa City, didn't like the way that the first supervisors was running their zoning. And so he was just,
Yep.
I'm going to show you that I got more power than you do. And it's, that's just bottom line. Bottom line. But he took everybody with him. Because both of our representatives in the state and the House or in the Senate voted for it, even after they were contacted. So what can you do? But anyhow, hopefully I'm not going to see you guys again. Just not have another board meeting between now and the end of the year because I'll be retiring. And if I don't, it's been a pleasure working with you.
Well, thank you for your service, Carl.
And Carrie will do a good job. She's already out there on septic, so she's out in the field more than I ever was in the last 20 years. So she sees what's going up, and I think it'll be a good fit. So with that, I don't have anything else.
All right, then can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We got a second. Motion, we're done.
All right.
All right.
Better get us off the line.